George Clooney was back in town over the weekend promoting his latest movie, but not everything seems so well plain sailing in the land of gorgeous George. But what was the problem? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. A quick celebrity message for you today, because I was lucky enough to see the brand new movie from George Clooney. Now, George, as you know, well, a few years ago was the #1 and biggest box office draw in the world. He had a succession of hits, and he was one of those people, I don't know if anybody agrees, but he looked like he belonged to an older era of Hollywood. He sort of reminded me a mixture of Robert Mitchum, Clark Gable, that type of character. Do you know what I mean? A big sort of, a real sort of Hollywood star. And he shone quite brightly for a while, and then sadly some bad career choices and of course the dwindling box office made people rethink him. Then, of course, he shot back to fame by marrying the very stunning socialite and lawyer Amal. Yes, spotted him out the other night actually in Notting Hill. Very nice couple together. Look exquisite, let me tell you. And then, of course, we were all shocked, weren't we, when they attended the royal wedding of the decade, allegedly, so far, when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, as she was then known, invited them to their wedding. Then George went and spoiled it all by basically saying, well, he didn't really know them that well and they were a little bit stunned why they'd been invited. But he wished them well and he's been supportive since, and all of the positives that people say. Now, a lot of people had a go at George and other people for attending the royal wedding. But as I've often said here on the show, why wouldn't you go? It was great PR. The world's press were there, free publicity. And I think what's interesting for a lot of celebrities is just the lure of being near royalty, to actually sit through an historical event. And whichever way you look at it, it was historical. So George was on the red carpet, right? And he was going down the red carpet, but quite a few severe PR officers, let me tell you, along that line. And we were all very briefly told, no questions about the royal couple. They didn't want the focus on Harry and Meghan, they wanted it on the movie. Rightly so, as you can imagine. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you think about it, if you wanted to plug something and get, your movie talked about, talk about the couple that everybody truly does talk about, whether you like it or not. And in so many cases, in many bad ways, the press that Harry and Meghan get just generates itself from all the negativity. But I do kind of find it strange that George did turn away that wonderful opportunity. And when he went down the carpet, a few of them were basically saying, oh no, they were just going to ask him anyway. But here's how it truly works when you're on the red carpet. Well, basically, if you do ask the questions that the PR teams don't want you to ask, then they claim that you won't be invited to any of the bigger events. This is all part of the London Film Festival. As far as I could see, there were no big events at the London Film Festival, so I wasn't too concerned. But then George did bypass quite a group of reporters, including myself, because he simply didn't have time. Had to dash in and see the film. It's not like you've not seen it before now, is it, George? But, as ever, we like to bring you the inside track on some celebrities whom people might say have a sense of decorum by not dragging Harry and Meghan into their publicity machine, even when that movie could certainly do with some good publicity. Neil Sean in the heart of London.